So my name is Ben Hoppe. I am the 4-H program coordinator in Brown County, Wisconsin for UW-Madison Division of Extension. I'll be operating the Zoom behind the scenes today and we'll be hanging out in the chat. So if you have questions, please feel free to post those there. I am very much an amateur photographer, and a lot of what I know about photography came from my time as a 4-H member years ago, and getting advice from like a fair judge, for example, and learning how to compose photos and deal with settings through those kinds of interactions. So the good news for you, I'm not the one presenting today. So I'm going to hand it over now to the person that is going to be presenting today.
Hey everybody, my name is MaryBeth Wohlrabe. I am the 4-H, I'm actually the Positive Youth Development Educator in Outagamie County for Extension, but I'm also a county fair judge.
Say hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Awesome. All right, I'm going to just share my screen here and we're going to get the slideshow started. And not from that screen though. How about here? Let's start at the beginning. All right, so as Ben said, this is the intro to photography. So here we're going to talk more about getting to know your camera. So we already did a discussion, a little bit introduction. I'm also a photography judge, not only for a junior class, for which most of you may have already been an exhibitor or coming up as an exhibitor, but I also do open class too, so it's pretty exciting what I do. And we already covered that, so we're going to dive right into good photos. So a lot of what I'm basing tonight's presentation off of is what I see a lot of kids come in to my table when I'm a judge at a county fair. What kind of things we need to work on, what kind of things that are really great, what sets apart those state fair photos from those maybe that are getting reds or whites or pinks even too. So couple of things that make good photos. It doesn't, the composition is one of the key things, and we're going to talk more about composition here on Tuesday and then the next Tuesday. So today we're going to more talk about the clarity piece and how to take a good picture and how your camera actually takes the picture itself. So clarity, that print quality, quality of work, technical quality, those types of things. Also, remembering that photography is an art, and so we have that storytelling ability into our art. You know, is it visually impactful? Is it original to our own style? And what is that impact or effectiveness to tell our story? The final piece that I want to talk about very briefly is about that final presentation. So I'll talk a little bit about it at the end, but really it's about the mounting and the print quality, both and. So the exposure is really, it doesn't matter if you have a digital camera, a film camera, your camera on your phone. All cameras are going to take into consideration these three settings into effect to create that correct exposure. So those are shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. So let's dive into a little bit about what that looks like. So shutter speed is that, well, let me back up a little bit. All three of these have some sort of a relation to your eye. So think about how your eye blinks, right? And how your sight changes, whether you're inside in a dark room or you're outside in a very bright sunny day. Think about how your eyes adjust, and that's how we're going to talk about our exposure, okay? So the exposure, the shutter speed part of the exposure is the blinking part. So how fast does your eye blink? Now, the opposite piece here is that cameras are automatically shut. So like our eyes are naturally open. For camera, they would be naturally shut. And then they open up to let a certain amount of light in. That speed is measured by seconds or percentages or fractions of seconds. The aperture is what we call the size of that opening. So as you can see here, the eye is dilating, right, or not. Same type of a thing with a camera. So that size of the opening, again, how much light is being let in. That is measured by f-stops. The larger the number of the f-stop, the smaller the hole. I know that sounds really backwards, but that is the way it works. There's a science behind why that's measured the way it is, but we won't go into that tonight. The ISO, this one is a little tricky too, because this one is the sensitivity of the eye. So this is where we really talk about, are we in a dark room or are we bright outside? Which one are we? So the lower the number here, so for example, the 100 is what we would use on a bright sunny day, for example. But if we're in a dark room, say on a dance hall floor, or maybe we're trying to take pictures of the fireworks, we might want to be up closer to the 1600. Or some cameras are going up to the thousands and thousands too. So a lot of different settings our cameras have. The one tricky thing about the ISO is that you need to be careful about how high you go, because there is what we call noise, and that noise is, it degrades the quality of our picture sometimes, depending on our settings. So we need to be careful of how high we bump the ISO up, because we could lose quality in our picture. We could gain more noise as the ISO goes up. So just kind of a review here before we dive into the next pieces. There is the triangle here, right? So we have the ISO is the higher the number, it brings more light in. Lower the number, it brings less light in. The shutter speed, the smaller the number, it brings more light in. And faster is the larger number, that brings less light in. And aperture is at f-stop. So the smaller the f-stop, it brings more light in. The larger the f-stop number, it brings less light in. Okay. So for example, here's a photo that I took at EAA AirVenture in Oshkosh. Gotta love that space for some bright sunny days most of the time. This one here was taken at 1/2000th of a second. So that's pretty fast, but I needed it fast because I wanted to capture that speed. I wanted to freeze that action. Remember too, when we are looking at shutter speed, that's what that's doing, right? Is freezing that action. It's at f2.8, so that's a pretty wide opening, but I wanted to let as much light in, and this is kind of a balance, right? I wanted to let as much light in, but that also, and we'll talk more about the depth of field and what that does there as well. And because I was out on a bright sunny day, I was only at ISO 100. Now I have to share this photo too, and I apologize, it's not the photo that I originally put in here, but somehow when I went to go to share it, it swapped it out. So for example, this photo was taken at 200th of a second. So this one was on a little bit more of a sunny day. The sun was just starting to come out as it had just rained, so it was more of a cloudy, partly sunny day, but I wanted that shallow depth of field, and we'll talk more about that later on. But that shallow depth of field meaning only some of the raindrops or the water droplets are in focus, and you can see the background dropped off pretty fast, and that's not in focus. And again, being outside and in a pretty well-lit area, I was only at 100 ISO. Another example for you, this was a winter morning, very early in the morning as the sun was coming up. And so this one here is at 320th of a second. So we're slowing down a little bit, but it's still pretty fast, right? Here, I wanted to capture a little bit more of the foreground and background. So I bumped up that aperture to f11. So more of that is in focus. And also because the sun was just starting to come up, I had to bump up my ISO to 400 in order to correctly expose. Okay. So that's exposure, and that's really how it comes together to create a correct exposure. So why do I talk about exposure a little bit more? Because in order to have a great photo to show us at the fair, you need to have a correct exposure, right? We don't want a photo that's too dark or too bright. We want to know how our cameras are exposing our photo so that if we need to take control of the camera instead of leaving it on auto, we know how we need to control that. This is one of the pieces that I explain a lot when I teach photography on a higher end or more advanced end, is when you really want to become a photographer, you take your camera off auto and you learn how your camera is actually taking the photos for you when it's on auto.
Okay.
So a couple of pieces here I wanted to dive into. So this is a lot of information, but again, how does your camera take a photo? If we think about our cameras are measured in megapixels, those megapixels is a number of pixels a sensor has available to record on. So if we think about our cameras are oftentimes, what are they, around 12 megapixels, 16 megapixel, right? So that's 16,000, right? I don't even know how many it is right now, the megapixels specifically. But it's a lot of pixels that make up that photo and that sensor. So your camera is going to have different settings, as we see a large, medium, and small. If you're on small, that camera is going to allow more pictures on that memory card. If you have it on large, it's going to increase the quality of your pictures, but then you can't take as many pictures on your memory card. My suggestion, and a suggestion from Daniel Johnson, who wrote the 4-H Guide to Photography, to Digital Photography, he says to shoot every photo at your camera's highest quality setting, because you can always make a smaller copy from a high quality photo, but you can't make a high quality photo from a smaller quality, okay? The aspect ratio, I bring this one up because this one I hear a lot when it comes to printing of the photo. So most of our cameras are set up to capture a photo in what we call a 3:2 aspect ratio. So that's typically what a 35 millimeter camera, a film camera back in the day, would have as an aspect ratio. That's the same as like a 4:6 photo. What I hear often, especially when we enlarge to an 8:10, is losing that space on either end. So making sure that we capture our images initially in our camera will help us to know what size we need to print at later on, okay? So for example, this is a photo of a 4:6 aspect ratio, or that 4:6 photo, that 3:2 aspect ratio. Another example is here. This is our 1:1, right? This is our square type of aspect ratio. This is an 8:10, or that 4:5 aspect ratio. And our 16:9. This is like what our widescreen TVs are showing too. So I'm going to back those up really quick to show you again. This is what a 4:6 is looking at. And then when we got it cropped down to a square, look at how much we're losing, right? We're not increasing space, we're losing space. The 8:10, again, we're losing a little bit on each end. And then the 16:9, we actually lose on the opposite sides as the 8:10. So just thinking about some of our fairs, some of our places where we exhibit our photos have restrictions as far as what size and what we can do for cropping wise. So that's really important to know what you can do within your county fair or wherever you exhibit your photos. I just wanted to touch base really quickly about file format and the sizing. So JPEG is the most common image file type, and that's what most of our cameras are shooting at. It's very handy, everyday work, but it doesn't use all of the information. So it has the same room on your computer or card by throwing away some of the unneeded information. In contrast, a raw photo or a raw image contains all of that information. More information than sometimes we know what to do with. But this is what a lot of professional photographers are using, because then they can do more what we call post-production work after it. They can do more editing to their photo because it contains all the information needed to do so. Now, there is some requirements here about needing a conversion software, and the file format, as you see up here, can determine or can change and will be determined by the manufacturer of the camera itself. White balance is another really great way to tweak our photos, and I say that with a hesitation because tweaking can be fun, but it can also hinder our creativity and originality too. So white balance is just it's just saying that different light sources have different temperatures, measured often by Kelvin, if you know that, right? So for example, warm light gives a yellowish or orangish cast, often like birthday candles. A cooler light is going to be a bluish cast coming on from the fluorescent bulbs or maybe shade of a tree. And then in between is sunlight. That is normal white color. You often see this when we buy light bulbs too. So for example, some of the settings that you might have for white balance on your camera would be the automatic, meaning your camera's setting it for you. The daylight, shadow, cloudy, tungsten, fluorescent, flash. You can often on your camera set a custom white balance, and there's a process for that. I would suggest you to look in your camera manual for that. That's a really fun one, especially if you're going to shoot in one area for a longer period of time. And then a user defined, meaning that you can set your Kelvin temperature or the white balance that you would like. The last thing, and might be the most important thing, is talking about focus and really making sure that what you have in focus in your photograph is really what you want in focus. So in some of my examples, you saw that I had very little in focus. And again, that depth of field we'll talk more about when we talk about composition, but really wanting what is in focus. I think about moving objects, right? Whether it's a running dog, or maybe it's a hopping bunny, maybe it's a horse jumping, right? Whatever that looks like. Often we see this in animal photos because they like to move a lot. But looking at the focus, really being careful and poised when we take that photo. Most of our cameras are going to have a setting on the shutter button where you press it down halfway and it'll focus, and then you press it down all the way to actually take the picture. That will help with that hesitation that our camera has, which really is that shutter leg, because it's trying to focus, right? Is that autofocus rather than a manual focus. It's trying to autofocus. And oftentimes it's also charging our flash if that's what's needed in our setting too. I also wanted to point out that another great way, especially as we're taking photos with our cameras, oftentimes our hands are way out there, and if we bring our elbows in and our camera closer to our face, that will steady our hands, and so that will also help to steady and focus our camera, and it'll steady our camera so that we can focus a little bit easier on our subject. So that is what I had in a nutshell. I know that was a lot of information, but I would recommend both of these books, the 4-H Guide to Digital Photography. That has some great information in it, but also a little bit deeper of a book that I know you can get at the library. It's a National Geographic Complete Photography book too. A lot of great information in both of those. All right, then Ben, I'm going to turn it back over to you for a couple of follow-up questions.
Awesome. So I just was I'm learning here too. So I wanted to just see maybe what are some examples where when I should be, when we're talking about exposure. So if I'm going to be using you talked about ISO, and if it's a high number or a low number, maybe what's a situation where I might want to use a high ISO number, maybe some sort of a picture where I would do that versus a low ISO. What's a situation where I might want to use that?
Yeah, so low, remember that ISO is the light sensitivity. So the lower the number, the less sensitive it is to light. So what that means is a lower number, so say an ISO of 100. You can use that in a bright sunny day or outside on most days. But if you're at night or you're taking a photo in a darker situation, then you're going to want to bump up your ISO. That's going to capture more light at that point once you bump that number up higher.
Awesome. So we talked a lot about a lot of different vocabulary words here. There's things about exposure, about pixels, about size and file type and focus. So there's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind when you are taking a picture, whether that's with your camera or if you're even taking a picture with your cell phone. So a lot of you, if you're taking a picture with your cell phone today, know that a lot of these settings are things that you can change on your cell phone too. I know on my Android phone, there's a pro setting where I can go in and I can change the white balance, or I can change the ISO, and I can change the aperture. So go ahead, next time you have your phone out, maybe, if you have it's a beautiful sunny day right now, take your phone out to your backyard and see what you can take a picture of in your backyard and play around with those different settings and see how that can change things on that perspective too. And I just wanted to echo the file type and how many pixels you have. One of the biggest things that I learned, it's always easy to shrink things. You can take away pixels, but you can never add them in. I always think of it like a big, like a canvas if you're gonna paint on those, and it has a lot of little tiny squares. So if you were just gonna put one little dot of paint in each square, if you only have 4 squares, you're not gonna see a whole lot of anything other than just 4 individual colors. But if you zoom out with lots of little tiny squares, it's a lot easier to make a really beautiful detailed picture. So it's always easier to be big and come to a smaller picture or a smaller file size than going the other way. And looks
You
like
bet. And if I could also add, Ben, too, when we talk about taking the white balance and the size and all of that, being able to capture that correctly or accurately in the camera before you take the picture will also make a better quality photo when you go to print it, or if you go to share it online, whatever you do with that photo, being able to capture it correctly or accurately in the camera initially is going to make that better quality photo in the end.